guys, welcome to another video here on my channel, and welcome to day 5 of my back to school series week. I've been bringing you guys a video every single day this week, Monday to Friday. Day 1 was a back to school supplies haul. Day 2 was a homework station. Day 3 was all about planning. Day 4 was quick and easy, what I like to call lazy organization. And today I'm going to be sharing my commuter experience with you guys and giving you some tips and tricks. So I knew that I did not want to stay on campus because I shared a room my entire life. Yes, that was my logic behind it. And I was also given the option of you dorm or you get a car. I chose the car. So my car was a 2000 Volkswagen Jetta. It was white. Her name was Fuchsia. Yes, I know. Pink, white, doesn't match, but her name was Fuchsia. And I got Fuchsia a month before I even got my license. So I got my Jetta in August of 2009, and I didn't get my license until September. So the first 2 weeks of school, I did get a ride because the commute for me was anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes on a good day. If it was traffic, sometimes it could be upward towards an hour. So generally, it was a good day, 30 to 45 minutes. So the first 2 weeks I would get a ride to school, and during that time my schedule I did have to change. Now the way that my college worked was that there would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or if you had a class once a week it would be 3 hours and 45 minutes. All other classes either on the Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule would all be 1 hour and 45 minutes. And those classes would be from either 8 to 9:45, 10 to 11:45, 12 to 1:45, and so on and so forth. Thanks to my lovely major, I was an English communications broadcast journalism major, so I had a lot of night classes. And what English communications broadcast journalism means, basically it was kind of like a double major in a way, because I was studying English literature on top of studying radio and TV production. So a lot of my English literature classes were in the morning, and then I also had to take the basic classes like the science and then the English class that everybody has to take. And also I had to take a math class my freshman year. And I believe the math class was Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a semester, and that was from 12 to 1:45. That was like the only time I had a Friday class, and I was like, never again, because I'm just driving down here for one class. So one thing about being a commuter, I highly recommend, if you can, to plan your classes accordingly. Also, as a commuter, don't make that 8 o'clock class. As much as I was tempted sometimes just to get it out the way, I knew that I wasn't going to make it to 8 o'clock, and I struggled even getting to 10 o'clock classes. So definitely plan your schedule accordingly and try to plan your classes as close as possible, because you really don't have that luxury to go back to your dorm in between classes. It's great to make friends on campus, but if they have a class and they don't want you in their dorm, so on and so forth, then that's that. But I definitely recommend planning your classes close together. Also, when you're planning your classes, make sure you give yourself enough time to get to that class. So I knew that I would have a class at 10 o'clock. So I would have to leave my house no later than 8:45, because it was really during rush hour and I needed to get not only to campus, but I needed to get a parking space. So that's tip number 2. Definitely plan your time wisely to make sure you get to campus in an ample enough time to find a parking space and all that jazz. When it comes to parking, my school had one parking lot. I know that some schools have garages and all that stuff. I paid for parking, and sometimes I was lucky enough to find a parking space, sometimes I wasn't. It really depended on the time of day. So like my 10 o'clock class, basically everybody had class at that time, so I really had to get to school at a decent time to get a parking space. As for my 6 o'clock class, not so much. Not a lot of people had night classes, so I was able to find parking with no problem. And being that sometimes the night classes, if it was twice a week, it would be 6 to 7:45. But being that my class was only once a week, it was always 6 to 9:45. So I always made sure that my parking space was close to the door, and I always made sure that I walked out with somebody, because there's a lot of crazies out here, and I didn't want any issues in the parking lot. Even though it wasn't a parking garage, it was still a parking lot. It was dark, and I wanted to make sure that I had someone walking with me. So I know that my friends would always park next to me as well, and we would always park close to the door. So let's recap. Tip number 1, make sure that you plan your schedule accordingly. Also make sure that you leave in enough time. And then, as always, make sure that you have parking figured out, even if you're parking on the street. But I definitely recommend, if you can, to get the parking, to pay for parking so that you won't have to worry about it. It's one less thing you have to figure out. I don't know how many schools don't offer a parking lot, but thankfully mine did. And I mean, it was like a rinky-dinky parking lot. Like, they could do so much better. And I drive past it every now and then. I'm like, really? So it was only a one-time fee you pay at the beginning of the school year, and you would renew it every single year, and you will put the decal on your car. So moving on, I know that when I had my classes, my night classes especially, I was always hungry. So I definitely recommend having some type of kit in the trunk of your car. Now, there's 2 types of kits that I would always have in my car. Well, kind of 3 if you think about it. So the first one, I always had snacks. And these were non-perishables, from granola bars. My grandmother always bought me Rice Krispie treats. And just keep things like that in your car. Number 2 was to make sure that I had a change of clothes, because if my friends wanted to go out somewhere, I didn't have that luxury to drive back home and get ready, because my commute was 30 to 45 minutes away. So I always had a change of clothes in my car. Not too crazy, like not too clubby or anything, because I really wasn't about the club scene. But if they wanted to go out for drinks or something, I did not dress up to go to school. I was all about comfort. And I would usually wear sweatpants and a hoodie. So if they wanted to go out, I would make sure I had an outfit in my trunk. Number 3, make sure that you have, you know, the plugs to jump your car if need be. I have a gas tank in there because I have been stranded twice. Well, the first time was because of that gas rationing that happened. So I didn't have gas and I got stuck. So I definitely have that in my trunk. I also have a sun visor to put in my windshield. I always have paper towels back there. I also have fluids for my car. So that's what I recommend, to make sure you just have things in your car in case you get stuck, to help you out. Also, if you get stuck in a ditch, make sure you have a blanket and kitty litter, because the kitty litter provides traction. My grandmother told me that, and it's helped me more than once. One time I got stuck in my driveway, and then another time I got stuck in the snow in my driveway, and the kitty litter really helped to get traction to get me out. So those are the 3 kits I recommend having. Have snacks, have a change of clothes, and have anything you would need in case you get stuck in your car. So when it comes to the bags to carry, I would carry either my JanSport here, and I would also carry this one. Now, I had both of these when I started my freshman year, and I would see a lot of people carrying around cute bags. Those nursing students would have the suitcases. They played no games. But being that by the end of the time that I was commuting, I did move closer to campus, and my commute went from 30 to 45 minutes to 15 to 20 minutes, depending on if I took the side streets versus the parkway. So that was so much more convenient. I was able to take out, I'd still left the change of clothes in my car just in case, quick and easy change on campus, but I did have that luxury to go home and change because I was closer to campus. But when it came to packing everything in my bag, I always made sure that I had my textbooks, and most of the time I left my textbooks in my trunk, so that this way between classes, because there was a 15-minute gap, I would be able to go to my car and grab my books if I wanted to. Now, the thing about going to my car and grabbing my books is that there'll be people waiting there, and some people get really nasty when they think that you're leaving your parking space and you're not. So beware of those people. Lastly, in between my classes, I was able to do work study. And if you have the opportunity to do work study, then do so. I know that some classes I would have 10 to 11:45, then 12 to 1:45, and then I wouldn't have another class until 4 or another one until 6. So in between that time, I would do work study, and work study was when I was able to work 10 hours a week. And I was able to work in the radio station at my school, which made it so much easier to work within my major, and I actually got the job from my professor, the main professor for my major. So that was a lot of fun to work there, and I absolutely loved doing radio. But as time progressed, as I was commuting, I did pick up full-time hours at my job, and I also picked up an internship. Now, it's very interesting interning, doing work study, or doing work at all, like working a full-time job and doing your classes. So my last semester of school, I was interning at Billboard in New York. I was working Monday through Wednesday, and I was also taking 5 classes. So one of my classes was thankfully online. Then another one of my classes was on campus, and then the rest were night classes. So the night classes were 6 to 9:45. I had one Monday, and I know I had one Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, I would be in New York at Billboard. I actually had 2 of my classes because my internship class was online and my psychology class was online as well. And that was the first time I was able to take online classes. If you guys are interested in the online class full experience, I did do grad school online. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know down below if you would like to hear my thoughts on that. But that is basically about it for my commuter experience. I tried to make my classes as close as possible. I definitely paid for parking. I always had snacks, a change of clothes, and after getting stuck so many times here and there, I always make sure that even now, I don't have my Jetta anymore. I have a Honda Civic now. But even now, I make sure that I have like stuff in my trunk in case I get stuck. Like, that's my worst fear. I don't want to get stuck anywhere. Also, when it came to my bags, I kept it like, this one is a Victoria's Secret bag. My Jansport one I actually bought my junior year of high school. My mom bought it for me. So those are the kind of bags that I use. I also use laptop bags and shoved all my stuff in there. Also, be sure to check out your school to see if they have a commuter lounge. I know that my school did. I just never used it. I would just go into the library, into the computer lab, or just go and find a table and do my work on my computer myself. Also, make sure that you have a flash drive if you need to print something. And if you need to print something, get to school in enough time, because if you think that you're going to go to school and you have a class at 10 o'clock and you're going to be printing a paper, there's other people that have that class at 10 o'clock and they're waiting to print a paper as well. So always try to print your papers in advance. I know the procrastination is so real, but always try to print your stuff in advance, and always make sure you have a mini stapler. So thank you guys so much for watching. So that is it for my commuter experience. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will have the full list of everything I mentioned on my blog, chaoticcritic.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at chaoticcritic, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!